Test, test, test. Here we go.
You're listening to the Ranked Podcast, where your hosts, Nick Norris, Aaron Patterson, and Justin Knight, are on the hunt for the most iconic year in sports history.
It's 1969. Justin, you want to sing the Summer of 69 for us? It's important that you do this.
Summer of 69. Not bad, huh?
Keep going. Keep going.
Well, I have to think about it again. How the song went. I know Bryan Adams sung the song, so you know.
We don't need copyright struck anyway, so that's okay.
That's true, yeah.
But this is a huge year. Not just in sports. But this is when we had the American moon landing.
Oh yeah. Well,
I've always thought about the poor guys who rode the rocket to the moon but didn't get to step out on it. That's a waste of time, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're forgotten. I can't tell you who was on the rocket that didn't step out.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you were one of those guys that were told you can't get out, would you just get out and step on the moon anyway? I mean, who's going to stop you?
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, that's probably... I don't think they went back to the moon ever again. If you were one of those guys, you probably didn't go back. That was probably the only time you went.
Yeah.
And to think you had to stay in your little rocket the whole time, you couldn't even stand on the moon.
Yeah, I think I would have got out. If they even could. Actually, they may have been hovering the moon. Maybe they couldn't get out anyway. But if they were on the ground, though, I think I would have stepped out on it.
Oh, gotta get out. Yeah.
Yeah, even if it was for a second. Anyway, this is also the year of the terrible Charles Manson murders, where he convinced some creepy dudes, some underage girls, to kill actress Sharon Tate and some other people in Hollywood. So he sucks. I think he's dead though, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was still alive recently, right?
Yeah, I think he died recently. I don't remember if he was given the death penalty or if he died in prison.
Yeah, he may have just died in prison. I don't know. Which doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they just didn't go ahead and kill him.
Yeah, and what's weird, he didn't actually kill anybody. He wasn't even there. He just kind of instructed them all to. So maybe he got off easier because of that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Some notable inventions. This is a segment. Oh, I need to address. This is a segment Aaron usually does. Aaron's not here with us today. He is in Maplesville, Alabama on business, so he could not be with us this week, but he will be back. We'll have all three of us back hopefully next week. We haven't had all three of us back in 3 weeks now, so we need to.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. But some notable inventions. In 1969, both the internet and glue sticks were invented. So that's two pretty big things. Yeah.
Didn't realize the internet was that early. I thought it was more late 70s.
Yeah. So. I imagine this was a very primitive version of that, since it was it wasn't open to the public or anything. I don't think it's just just invented. But what we're going to talk about, as usual, are the sports this year. So let's get into 1969, and I'll start us out in January, Justin, if you don't mind, with Jack Kent Cooke, owner of the NHL LA Kings, on January 1st, fined each player $100 for not arguing with a referee.
So what is this? Is this after a certain game, or?
I don't know. If I can look it up here. I've never heard. I'm sure that's illegal now.
Yeah, you couldn't do that now. Of course, $100 then was a pretty good bid, but $100 now, that's just petty. I mean, that's I can pull that out of my pocket if I was one of those players now.
That's insane that they fined every one of them for not arguing with a referee.
Must have been something that happened that game, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty petty also.
Yeah.
But let's see. I think I've got it here. Former LA Kings general Larry Reagan was mad, and he let. Oh my goodness, this may have ended up with. Let's see. 50 Forgotten Stories: The Punch That Started a Union.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I guess it ended up in a union. So it looks like this goes all the way back to '68 as well. There's some things going on before here that ends up. This is unrelated, but I'm going to read this. On October 13th, 1968, in front of 2,688 people at Oakland Coliseum Arena, officials missed a late blood-drawing seals infraction. After the 4-4 tie, Kings General Larry Reagan confronted the referee Bruce Hood, and apparently he punched the referee so hard that it broke his hand.
Oh my gosh!
He had to get 5 stitches just on his hand. So imagine what that guy's face probably looked like.
Seriously,
unless his face was perfectly fine. There's no telling. So it sounds like the Kings had some issues in '68, '69 with sportsmanship. That's going to be a running thing through here. The sportsmanship was pretty bad this year. We're going to see a lot of that, actually. On January 1st as well, we had the 55th Rose Bowl, where Ohio State beat number 1 Ohio State beat number 2 Southern California. It wasn't often before the BCS to have 1 and 2 play in a bowl game against each other either at the end of the season.
Yeah.
On that same day, we also had the 35th Sugar Bowl. Arkansas, number 9, beat number 4 Georgia, and the 35th Orange Bowl, where number 3 Penn State beat number 6 Kansas.
Kansas, when they were actually decent, I guess.
Yeah, wouldn't they like to be back in the Orange Bowl these days?
Huh. Right now they're storming. Yeah, they're storming the field for beating the FCS team by 3 points. So.
On January 12th, a couple weeks later, we had Super Bowl III, the early days of the Super Bowl, in Miami, Florida. The New York Jets beat the Baltimore Colts 16-7. Joe Namath was the MVP, the Jets quarterback.
Well, when you think about this, if he doesn't win that Super Bowl, I don't think anybody's really ever talking about Joe Namath.
Yeah, because I think doesn't he retire right after this? I think we may talk about that here soon.
Yeah, I think we had said something before, but I mean, this is something else I've thought about too with Alabama quarterbacks, because they talk about, you got all the Alabama quarterbacks now with Mac Jones and Tua in the NFL and Hurts, and they're like, Alabama's new it's quarterback school, quarterback college, and I think is absurd, because if you think about any other, be honest, you haven't really had an Alabama quarterback that's won MVP or been successful in the NFL.
No, there are very few elite Alabama or former Alabama NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I mean,
the only one
right now it seems like more because Tua's out there and Mac Jones and Jalen Hurts, but you take away
they haven't proven themselves yet.
And that's very recent bias. Before that, you got to go back a pretty long way to find a quarterback at Alabama that started for very long. It's not. It doesn't happen often before that. So Joe Namath was a huge name here in this state because of that as well. So
yep.
On January 22nd, Roy Campanella and Stan Musial elected to Baseball Hall of Fame. The 26th, we had the first Australian Open women's tennis. Margaret Court won the inaugural Open event and beat the American Billie Jean King.
Oh, nice.
And on the 28th, we had the 1969 NFL Draft. Oj Simpson from USC is the first pick by the Buffalo Bills.
Famous pick.
Yeah, what? I don't think we've done the year OJ goes on the run. We're going to have to get around to that eventually, too. Justin, would you like to cover February and March for us there?
Okay, so February 1st, his first start in a Ford. Richard Petty wins the Motor Trend 500 at Riversdale, California, which was previous 92 NASCAR victories were in Plymouth. Okay, so he was in a new car this year and got a win at the Motor Trend 500. February 4th, John Madden's named head coach of the Raiders and goes on. I think he won, 2 Super Bowls, or did he win 1?
I can look that up to be sure.
I think he won 2. Yeah. And then February 10th, LSU Pete Maravich scores 66. Pistol Pete, man, probably one of the... I think people kind of forget how good he was. You should look at some of his highlights. He's probably one of the best passers ever played the game of basketball.
I can't remember. I can't remember how this came up, but we were talking about Pistol Pete in my classroom because we're both teachers, me and Justin, and I actually ended up pulling up some like highlights of of Pistol Pete. I think this was last year. We watched some in class, but
yeah.
It looks like John Madden just had the one Super Bowl win.
Okay.
Yeah, Super Bowl 9.
Yep. All right, let's see. February 21st, Ted Williams, he signs a 5-year contract to be the manager of the Washington Senators. March 1st, New York Yankees legend Mickey Mantle announces his retirement due to knee injuries he'd had all over his career. He had 18 seasons with 536 home runs and 298 batting average. So let's say a very, very successful career.
This is a big year for baseball too, as we see. We already mentioned Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle.
And then 69 was the Miracle Mets too, wasn't it?
I think we'll get to that as well. But there's a lot. I had to even cut a lot of baseball stuff just because there's so much. We would have been talking baseball all day, but I try to keep some of the bigger stuff. But yeah, we'll get around to some other things.
And then March 1st, Phil Esposito has a goal and assist in Boston Bruins' 8-5 win over the Rangers to give him 99 points for the season, breaking the NHL record, most points in a season, which used to be 97, held by Stan Mikita.
Starting out in April, on April 8th, the expansion teams, Justin, this applies to you. You like this year. The Royals, Expos, Padres, and Pilots won their first games.
Nice.
You're a big Royals guy, so big year for you.
Yep, but another terrible season this year. But what's new, huh? Ever since winning the World Series, it's all been downhill. So
yeah. April 22nd, American Joe Frazier KOs American Dave Zieglewick in first round to retain the heavyweight boxing title in Houston, Texas.
Nice.
The April 23rd, LA Lakers guard Jerry West scores 53 points in 120 to 118 NBA Finals game, one win over the Celtics. Nice. In May 5th, Milwaukee's Bucks signed number 1 NBA draft pick, star UCL center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's a huge name. Mm-hmm. So we got him and OJ in the same year. That's pretty. That's
pretty good.
Pretty big. And May 5th. The 23rd NBA championship, Boston Celtics beat the LA Lakers 4-3.
It's a good series. All right. Oh, well, here you go. So June 6th, Joe Namath resigns from the NFL after Pete Rozelle, football commissioner, said he must sell his stake in a bar.
He must have been making a lot of money off of that bar to quit the
Seriously.
NFL.
Yeah, to quit after you just won a Super Bowl, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he must have been doing pretty well with that bar.
Either that or he just had a passion for bartending.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He had to have been making a lot of money, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, we know Joe Namath likes to drink, so maybe he did have a passion for the bar.
So. Got good style, though. I like all his coats.
Yeah, he does, yeah. Let's see, June 14th, Oakland A's Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, gets 10 RBIs to beat the Red Sox 21-7. Pretty high-scoring game.
Another huge name there for baseball, Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. July 9th, Hall of Famer Tom Seaver's no-hit bid against Cubs ends with 1 out in the 9th, which I think Tom Seaver, he recently passed away, didn't he?
Oh, really?
I think you'd have to look it up.
Yeah, let me look that up and see.
I'm not sure.
He died in August 2020 in California.
Yeah. Because I think he used to play, did he play for the Braves? I think he played some for the Braves. I don't know.
I can find out really fast for you. It looks like that he played for the Mets, the Reds, the Mets again, the White Sox, and the Red Sox.
The Mets, that's what it was. Okay. I wasn't sure if he played for the Braves or not. August 5th, Pirates outfielder and Hall of Famer Willie Stargell smashed his first and longest home run ever hit out of Dodger Stadium. And it measured 506 feet, which is pretty incredible, especially when you think 1969, someone was smashing a ball 506 feet.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. September 8th, we had the U.S. Open women's tennis in Forest Hills, New York. Australian Margaret Court wins her 3rd U.S. singles title and 16th Grand Slam singles event. September 20th, we had the Ryder Cup in golf.
Nice. Hey, got the Ryder Cup at the end of this month as well.
Oh, it's coming up, huh?
Yep.
We had the U.S. and the Great Britain actually tied 16-all. And in a great sporting gesture, America's Jack Nicklaus concedes a missable 3-foot putt to Tony Jacklin at the 18th hole for the draw. So.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he doesn't give him that, I mean, who knows? They might end up winning instead of tying.
Yeah. So that's interesting. September 22nd. Willie Mays becomes the second player to hit 600 home runs. That's another huge baseball name. I mean, there's some giants in baseball at this point right now. I mean, he was literally on the Giants team, but there are some giants in this. And then October 15th, we had Orioles. Earl Weaver becomes the first manager ejected in 60 years at a World Series game.
Jeez, I didn't know it'd been. Holy cow.
Must have got pretty heated to get thrown out of a World Series game. I doubt the refs do that lightly. So
yeah, I was about to say, that really doesn't ever happen, just considering it's the World Series. But golly, I didn't know there was such a huge gap from the last time that it happened. Huh.
This is some more bad sportsmanship than we're talking about here.
Let's see. November 2nd, 41-year-old Detroit right wing Gordie Howe picks up his 19th and final NHL hat trick. Wow, 41 years old in the NHL. That's tough to do.
Especially in 1969. 40 years old now isn't 40 years old in 1969.
No, 40 years old in 1969 is like 80 years old today. So
when you're smoking like 4 packs of cigarettes a day and every meal is just like
I mean, they're drinking like milk. Crazy. And in the NHL, I mean, these guys, a lot of them weren't wearing helmets or masks. Didn't really have anything. So, I mean, who knows how much the puck's flying up in their face.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, that's
impressive.
Now that doesn't sound too insane. I mean, Tom Brady's 44 playing quarterback, but this is an even more violent game than that, especially at this time. And he's that old doing it during a time when 40-year-olds don't have all the nutrition shakes and the the aging creams and stuff.
Tom Brady now, you would think he's 34, not 44. So, I mean, he might play until he's 50.
Yeah,
which is
he really might.
Absurd to think.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. November 20th, you had Brazilian soccer legend Pelé. He scored his 1,000th goal. November 26th, the 35th Heisman Trophy Award went to Steve Owens, Oklahoma running back. November 29th, you had the 34th Iron Bowl, and Auburn beats Alabama 49-26 in Birmingham. And then December 21st, the famous Vince Lombardi with the Washington Redskins coaches his last football game, a 20-10 loss to the Cowboys for a 7-5-2 season and 105-35-6 in his career. So a very successful career. I mean, when you have the Super Bowl trophy named after you, I'd say you're a very successful coach. So.
Going back to that Iron Bowl as well, this cut the Alabama streak. Alabama had a 5-year streak beating.
Yeah, I was about to say Alabama was probably dominating. I mean, well, they dominated around the 60s and the 70s. So
yeah, so this was breaking that streak with Pat Sullivan as the Tigers quarterback, which would later become a coach there, head coach. Auburn's 49 points were the most put on Bama since Sewanee in 1907 at the time. So,
oh my gosh!
Yeah, people didn't score a lot of points back then. I mean, we know that, but that's a long gap to not put up 49 points.
But hey, how about today? So Auburn had a 94-yard touchdown run, and that was the school record. And then it had held up since 1932, I think, and it was 92 yards. Yeah, which I didn't realize. That it had held up for that long, and that we hadn't had a longer touchdown run. So that was pretty cool.
Some famous birthdays from 1969. We had Triple H, pro wrestler. We had another pro wrestler, Dave Bautista, also known as Drax from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Mm-hmm. And we had Michael Schumacher of Formula One racing fame, German racer.
Nice.
And in the field in deaths here we have Joe Malone. He was a Canadian ice hockey center. He died at 79. We had Maureen Connolly, American tennis player. She died of ovarian cancer at 34. So that's terribly young. That sucks. She was the first women's Grand Slam winner.
Nice.
We had Rocky Marciana, American boxer, the undefeated world heavyweight champion. He died in a plane crash at 45, so that's unfortunate as well.
Yeah.
Walter Hagen, American golfer. He had 11 major titles. He died of throat cancer at 76. And Sonja Henie, Norwegian figure skater who won Olympic gold and three Olympics in a row. She was also an actress, played in My Lucky Star. She died from leukemia at 57. So a lot of young deaths that year.
Yeah, really.
Sucks, but I thought we could end up this episode on our usual weird story of the week, where I pick out a story from that year that is what I think to be the weirdest, and we just read all about it, and then at the end of the episode, don't let me forget, Justin, we need to rank 1969 out of 100 points, as we always do. So let's talk about the Berkshire Ufo Incident in Massachusetts. You ever heard of this before?
I don't think so.
So in 1969, this is considered the first UFO sighting in America. And it's actually maybe has the most weight to any of them. I don't necessarily believe that they saw a UFO, but I think there was something going on, especially since this was during the space age. The government, I'm sure, was doing all kinds of secret testings all over the world. And this has a lot of people that all kind of claim to have saw the same thing in the sky here. Initially, so let's go over it first. On the evening of September 1st, 1969, strange lights descended on the town of Sheffield, located in southern Berkshires. Many who saw these lights later said they might have been attached to a UFO. This comes from allthat'sinteresting.com. I'm just going to kind of pick and choose what I'm reading here, but according to witness, sorry, I'm sick today. It's going to be hard for me to read. According to witness accounts, the UFO in question was a disc-shaped craft that performed acrobatic maneuvers in the sky. It's unclear how long the phenomenon lasted, but some said that while watching it, they all lost track of time.
What?
It's 1969. Not a ton's going on. Your TV's black and white. You see something in the sky, you're going to walk out and look at it.
Yeah, I mean, they did have plenty of drugs to do, I guess, if they wanted to do that instead.
All in all, it was like, I think I read that it was around 40 so people walked out and described seeing the same thing, just this kind of really low hovering aircraft. They didn't really understand what it was. They didn't call it a UFO at first because they had never even heard that term. They were just like, there's a thing in the sky. It's like all they were saying.
Don't know what it is.
It wasn't really like, there was sci-fi movies and stuff at that time all about aliens, but the term UFO wasn't just like super
thrown around
known back then. Yeah, so a lot of people were calling into the radio station, the local radio station there, WSBS. They said at the time they didn't know it was a UFO. They just called the station to say something bizarre has happened, and all these people were kind of saying the same thing. It was later estimated that about 40 people reported seeing the UFO. Some of them were children at the time, and they still live in that area today.
So could you trust children though with something like this?
No, probably not.
I mean,
but the most famous, and you may have heard this part of the story, the most famous encounter from this is a little boy. His name was Thomas Reed. And he claims that at 9 years old, he was in the car with his mother, grandmother, and brother. They were driving down the street, kind of through this wooded area. And from behind the trees, they just see this massive glowing lights peeking out like at the road behind them. So they stop the car. He was kind of looking out, trying to figure out what it is. And they could not figure it out. It was like it's brighter than any lights they'd ever seen. So they said it had sort of a self-contained glow. It rose up a little bit. It looked like it followed the dirt road, which I'm sure it probably didn't, but just appeared that way because we could see it through the trees. The light started to bleed through. Once we broke into a little bit of clearing, we could see inside the car, so the light was flooded inside the car. After an amber glow emerged on both sides of the road, Reed recalled being taken to a hangar-like area that was bigger than a football field. So he says, like, one minute they're in the car, the next minute they're inside this, like, big metallic hanger.
Baloney.
We encountered something, Reed said. It was definitely not of this world. We had a black and white television at the time, and the imagery that we saw on this thing was unbelievable. There were lights that looked like fluorescent tubing inside the hangar. The hallway was circular, had a wide configuration almost to the flow of traffic, yada, yada, yada. He said, I have no idea where I was, but I know that I was somewhere very different than anything I've seen today 50 years later. He was like awake for a minute, and the next thing he knows, he's back inside the car, but his grandmother and his mother had switched seats.
Oh my gosh.
And they were like all asleep. So that's his story. But Netflix actually does a series called Unsolved Mysteries, and they did this one. And I don't think I've watched this one, but I've watched some of the stuff on Unsolved Series, and it's a really good show. So I may have to check this out. They don't really try to like paint it in one direction or the other. They're just like, here's the facts. You can kind of decide for yourself what you kind of think.
Yeah.
So, but that is the weird year of 1969. So it is time that we rank it. Out of 100.
So I would like to add too. So you had the Miracle Mets too, which was, I guess, one of the important baseball teams, because I think they were heavy underdogs against a really good Orioles team, and so they ended up winning the series 4-1. And I think Nolan Ryan, he was on that Mets team as well, and he pitched in the game.
That team also won 100 games that year, which is they won 162, but still getting 3 digits in your win column is always a nice little bonus there. So
yeah, I need to look and see who was on the Orioles team that year. Let's see.
It says that season was also the first season of any divisional play in the MLB, so that's interesting.
So it looks like the Orioles that season, they went 109-53. So that's pretty good. I would see why they were favored heavily. Let's see who they had on there. It was a pretty good upset for the Mets that season.
Oh yeah, I mean that's I'm not sure how that missed getting put in here, but thank you, for putting that in there.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm always glad to help.
If you guys pick up anything that we ever miss, because we have to go through a whole year's of stuff, and it's often that we do miss some things. Gus from dying, Justin. Please email us and let us know. I'm gonna need you to talk for a minute, Justin. Let's rank this out of 100, though. I gotta get some water.
All right, let's rank it. So, I think it was a pretty good year. There was a lot of good baseball things this year. You had a lot of famous players retiring, but there were also, you had some big basketball moments. You had Oj Simpson drafted for football for the Buffalo Bills. Some big tennis moments as well. So
it was very big for women's tennis. It seemed like. Too.
And I mean, soccer was big. You had someone like Pele who scored a lot of goals over his career.
Yeah, that's one of the 4 soccer players I can name. So that's big.
Yeah. So I'll give it an 81. I think 81 is a pretty good ranking for it.
81. I'll quickly go through the other years we have ranked so far. So we have at the top of the list we have 2016 with a 91. That was Kobe's last year. We had the Olympics that year. Behind it we have 1980. That was the Miracle on Ice for the 90. Then we go to 74 with an 80. 91 with a 72. And then 2003 with a 63. 1927 with a 42. 44 with a 15. And then last week we gave all of BC, so the thousands of years before year 1 AD, a 33 because
33.
Yeah, I just decided that would sound.
I feel like that should be higher because when you have things going on with like gladiators and people were killing each other, I feel like that's got to be a little higher.
We were tired and we were like, this doesn't even make any sense. Let's just throw out a number.
They also didn't they have like races too?
Oh yeah, we talked about chariot races. We talked about
yeah.
That was a fun one, Justin. You should go back and listen to that one. I wish you had COVID then, but That would have been a fun one for you to be on. We may go back to another ancient thing in a while.
Yeah,
be more specific next time.
Because I'm pretty sure. I mean, those chariot races were dangerous, man. There were a lot of crashes, and I'm pretty sure you could try to kill each other too. If I'm not mistaken. But that would have been some spectacle to go to. See like gladiators go battle it out and reenact some famous battles, and then they're just tearing each other's heads off and.
Yeah. So what did you say for 69? You said 81?
81.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'll say 83. So let's make it an 82. That puts it 82.
Okay. I like it.
That puts us as the third highest year, which I think is about right.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Third best one we've done so far. So.
Yeah, that was a good. 1969 is a well-known season, for sports. So.
Okay, well, if you want to get in contact with the show, if you'd like to tell us a year to do or mention something we missed, you can email us at rankedsportspod@gmail.com.
Hey, have we gotten any emails?
No, we haven't. I'd love to get some though. Y'all send out some stuff our way, whether it be a year or some advice or a thought, anything like that. Send us a weird story if you've got a weird story from one of these years. If you were alive in 69 or you remember something weird happening.
Tell us how much you love us and you care about us, and how much we have impacted your life, and we make your day that much better.
We do this for you, not for us. We need some kind of payment. So if you want to give us some money, you can do that.
You start giving us some money, then maybe we'll really care about this too.
Maybe we will. Maybe we won't though. Maybe we'll just keep doing what we're doing, and you can just give us money.
You just give us your money.
Yeah. Anyway, we're also on Twitter and Instagram at RankedSportsPod. Not Twitter, sorry, Facebook and Instagram at RankedSportsPod. Feel free to follow us there, and feel free to give us a like and subscribe. Whether you're watching this or listening to this through a podcast app or watching it on YouTube, thank you for listening. And we'll be back next week. What year should we do next week, Justin?
Ooh, what year?
Maybe we'll see if anybody will email us with some suggestions. So
let's do 2004.
2000. That's a big one. We want to jump to another big one that soon.
I mean,
no, 2004 is not as. I'm thinking of 2003. 2004 is pretty big, but not huge. That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, let's do 2004. We need to go back to the 2000s.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Did we already do 2004?
No, I don't think so.
No, we did.
No, we haven't. No.
What year in 2000 did we do? Oh, 2003. Where did we do 2003?
Yeah, we did 2003 and 2016. So.
Okay. All right. We'll do 2004 next week then. So tune in for that one. And
you better tune in. You better tune in. That's my threat.
We're not messing around.
No.
Tune in.
We will come and find you if you don't tune in and listen to 2004.
If you don't know how to find us, you can get on the podcast app and just start scrolling. Eventually, you'll come across us.
If you don't know how to find us, we'll find you.
We can send you a letter in the mail.
Yeah.
Say, hey, please go to this link. You'll have to get on your little computer. You have to type it in, and then you can go do it. I think it's the most efficient way to reach people. So.
That's right.
All right. Goodbye.
All right. Yeah. Have a great day.
Test. Here we go.
You've been listening to Ranked, the most iconic year in sports history. Please remember to like and subscribe.